Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Epic Gear Cup number 2. We're here in the finals. It's Mouz Sports taking on Sharks, and nice to be back here on Chaos TV. I'm joined by, of course, by Spuddington. We're about to hop into the game, and yeah, Mouz Sports. They've been around for a while, but not always under that name. But it's nice to see Mouz Sports back in League of Legends.
Yeah, the organization had a lineup a couple of times in the past. They've had, just some reasonable challenger teams historically, but now they've adopted the old MYM roster that's changed out their mid laner, but it's otherwise the same. So they're a team with a lot of history, a lot of synergy, and they've shown some pretty decent performances so far already.
And it's important to note that Sharks have been around for just a little bit. Sharks have, of course, been competing in the EU ESL Pro Series. It's the all-German Pro Series for Germany. And while they've had some mixed results, especially having some problems versus Tick, Trick, and Duck, who, by the way, are also pretty good, they're also no joke. So a great team that have had a lot of practice together here, taking on a team that have probably had more practice together than any roster in the entire world. The MYM roster, together with Sharu in the mid lane, had been together longer than I believe any other team, but have substantially switched up their lineups, though most of it remains the same.
Yeah, I think they were together for about 3 years, but of course, synergy between team members can be completely changed around when you swap out even one player. And I would say, I think it's particularly true, they needed a change at that point because they just weren't performing at the same level they were before. I don't actually even know if their mid laner is still playing competitively anymore, because I think 3 years is a pretty long time to keep going.
Especially in esports, when things change up so much, it's nice to have some consistency there. And now on Mouz Sports, hopefully we see the same level of consistency here tonight versus the Sharks. But we're already into picks and bans, and you can see not necessarily targeted bans, but more just banning out the really strong champions. One thing that you will notice is that because we're playing on the live servers, there is no Kassadin ban, because I think it's safe to say that guy kind of got Olafed.
It's a really hard one to call, actually, because I still haven't. I have yet to play a game with a Kassadin in it. He definitely did get changed around a lot. I don't actually know if this tournament ruling has the kind of new champions are banned out automatically rule. That could also be at play here. He actually seems, in principle, to be quite strong, potentially, but he's definitely going to need a different play style now. Relying a lot more on his melee auto attacks, which means the effective range of his ultimate jumps is a lot smaller. But then again, he's also got this mana restore mechanic. He's got all sorts of different changes to what he needs to be done. So it's going to take people a while to work out how to play him, and then hence work out if he's going to be really, really strong again, or if he's going to be really, really weak. He'd have to basically be horrendously overpowered for people to already feel confident enough to play him in competitive.
Yeah, we probably won't see him for at least a little while. Might actually see a few other champions who got a little bit changed around. Changed to both hyper carries, Tristana and Kog'Maw, were that they now have no mana cost on both of their huge steroids. A 90% auto attack speed increase on rapid fire for Tristana is now free, and the same for Kog'Maw's Bioarcane Barrage. So nice to see the hyper carries getting a little bit more hyper down there. Not sure we'll see necessarily any of those, but it's still going to be interesting to watch. Maybe some new changes here in patch 4.4 as we maybe point those out as we go through. Biggest one, of course, no Kassadin, which actually I like casting games now even more because the red side isn't at a disadvantage, kind of losing that one ban.
Yeah, although there is actually an interesting statistic which has been shown around, which is you get something like an 8% chance extra to win if you're going up the screen effectively. So it's basically dependent on your camera angle. Although the really weird thing is that even Dominion, which is like a circular map and it's completely equal on camera angle, still has a side bias. I think the red side has an advantage in that one. So I don't understand how that's supposed to work, but there is that little edge that both teams have. But regardless, we are seeing the general rosters now being finalized on the stream. So Sharks picking up a fairly standard roster there, but they are going for a Zed, which is an interesting choice, especially considering they're going to be going up against Gragas. Can actually do pretty well in that matchup, Zed. He can juke a lot of the skill shots using his death mark. He doesn't get bullied out very, very hard early because Gragas is also melee. And that means that, you may end up seeing that really, really scary late game Zed just deleting anyone he feels like.
Well, if you talk about deleting, you really can't leave Gragas out of that too much. I'll never forget. I think it was in it was Battle of the Atlantic. Watching, was it? It wasn't Tabs. It was Kerp on Gragas. Just like I did not know you could go from green to red so quickly for health bars, but he made it happen with Gragas. So there's a lot of burst on both sides, and especially with Morgana, it's going to go a long way to maybe keeping people from being CC'd, especially by Annie. But it's not going to stop any damage from Zed, so still going to be a lot of pain there. For Sharks, locking in what appears to be their last pick as an Annie. It's going to be an interesting dual lane. Annie Sivir, not something that I'm used to seeing as far as that combo, but it's nice to see Morgana back in the EU meta. It's something we noticed a lot in at IEM, but not something that's actually transversed the entire globe. Haven't seen it in I think we saw it one game a couple weeks ago in LPL, but other than that, it's really not in China, and haven't seen it in Korea yet either. So a little bit new, but it's nice to see Miles trying it out.
It's an interesting thing to watch, actually, the Morgana sort of mini metagame evolve as time goes by, because initially everyone was thinking, oh my god, she counters like every CC support there is, because she can just black shield whoever you target. But you start to see, as time goes by and people get more used to playing against her, you start to see stuff like Xpecial saying, well, actually Leona counters Morgana, because all you have to do is make sure that when you Zenith Blade on the person, you wait till the black shield has been committed and then you just stun the other person, or you can try and sneak in the stun before she can cast it. So there's actually still quite a lot of a learning process to go on in the process of having Morgana incorporated into the metagame. So it may be that the Koreans are just so far ahead of the game they've already gone through that whole process, but I'm disinclined to think that, and I think they're more just waiting to see where it kind of falls.
All right, well, we're going to see where this game falls as we hop into the 3-minute spectator delay. So stick around, because when we come back, we'll be right back with Epic Gear's very own Mouse Sports taking on Sharks in the finals of the EpicGearCup #2 here on Chaos TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
As I fell to the ocean floor, fading light through an open door, I saw myself rise with the water. They thought they could keep me down, hold their breath and watch me drown, but all they did is pushed me higher. We don't care what they say, we will be here all day, we'll stay until it's over, till the world's out of sight. We will stand, we will fight, it's not over till it's over. Through the nights in the rain, through the time and the pain, the stand will never fall. And then at the end of it all, we will win, we will chant, it's not over till it's over.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chaos TV's presentation of the Epic Gear Cup number 2. We're here in the finals, taking on, with Mouse, of course, taking on Sharks, or Evil Sharks, as they're more well known. I am Rapid, I'm here with Spuddington. We're out onto the Rift for a new and dark 2 minutes of the game.
Oh, patata.
Oh no, Annie, don't do it! It's Little Red Riding Annie, taking a trip into the woods, meets a little bit more than just the big bad wolf there in the brush, and rough time to be a support, especially in these first 2 minutes. Now we are on patch 4.3, or 4.4 actually, where you don't get trinkets, you don't get any wards before 2 minutes into the game, and poor little Annie kind of got the rough end of that deal.
Yeah, the big bad binding coming out of the brush there. So that's a pretty free kill, because essentially Potato was just slow getting off the spawn pad. If you gotten there right on time, he still might have been caught, but he would have at least had a chance to react. So a little bit unfortunate there, but Mouz doing what they have been known to do quite a lot and invade early. And I also just want to note that pink ward, we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that you see out of players that get First Blood, because it's now no longer enough. If you get First Blood back in the day when it was 400 gold, you buy it like a whole nother Doran's ring, and that really, really changed the lane into your favor. Now, it's mostly just consumables and more lane sustain, things like that pink ward, like you said. So, nice to see. I'll keep a tracker on it. I believe it was placed down at 1 minute 40 seconds. So, you can't place trinket wards before that's before 2 minutes, but you can throw down other wards.
And that's actually another interesting point that may happen with regard to the metagame, because the whole play style around those early wards may start to develop into forcing the supports to take gold items, because then they can afford normal wards to cover their buffs. But Charging Bull, a lot of damage in that bot lane.
Yeah, there's actually a couple things to talk about. The binding will hit on a Charging Bull, and now all we need is one more auto attack, and the expunge behind the turret, he gets it! Right through the barrier, and Mackler making the Twitch work. Nah, we haven't seen too much Twitch out there recently on the Rift, Spuddington. Why is that?
The Twitch, he's got some interesting little foibles to him. He is incredibly strong, assuming he's on an equal footing in a team fight, because obviously AoE auto attacks, that poison damage, and already a lot of steroids built into his Q and his R. But he has some weaknesses in the lane. Obviously his laning is a bit dodgy because he has to get the full combo off or he won't get even close to as much damage as other characters. But that needs more time to cast those spells. And Lee Sin is actually in the top lane, so that's probably going to be the more important thing.
And Mokate just going to take a ton of damage and not actually deal all that much. So kind of a nice one-on-one that Fresh Air actually does win. The only downside is that they take a little bit of damage while Kuban just got to hit his turret and kill some minions. So maybe not the most effective of ganks, but still nice to see some pressure being put on one of the most dominant top laners out there right now in Renekton. So the thing that's interesting to me more is that you see the submarine composition that the KT Bullets popularized so much when you have Shen and Twitch. You have Twitch stealth in as a big initiate, and then Shen ult onto him. They can't see him, they just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a really fun synergy. So yeah, in short, going back to Twitch though, his laning.
Oh, top lane, Kuban going in. He's gonna grab the kill and the flash on Fresh Air. Worst of both worlds, and not sure if Charging Bull's spell shield works. Probably not, because it is unfortunately not skilled. Black Shield's skilled, and so is all of Mackler's damage. So you will pick up the 4th kill of the game already. Here from Mouse Sports, mid lane, Rainy Monday is gonna have a rainy Wednesday here as he is going to take a ton of damage. Ward jump in, the auto attack, the red buff burns him down. 5-0 for Mouz.
But this is snowballing quite quickly. To put not too fine of a point on it, right now, Sharks are bleeding fiercely. They're probably going to be chasing their own tails in a second. Really, really crazy amount of gold to go really, really quickly, especially in the top lane, because Shen doesn't really have a lot of kill potential, ever. But somehow he was able to bait Fresh Air in and get that early kill, which is just huge and means that now what is already kind of a counter lane, because he will outscale him, is going to be getting bonus gold, head on experience, and all the rest.
And there's the spell shield from Charging Bull. So it's nice to see it finally skilled up there. But that just means he's only hit level 3, and it's now almost 2 levels behind Mackler, who's almost halfway to level 5.
So there's a lot of work to be done by Sharks. If you look at Patata in the bottom lane, he just hit level 3 while he was actually chasing Mackler. Right now, Mackler is in the lane on relatively low health, though, so they may be able to keep them trapped in for a while and get some farm on Sivir. But it seems like at the moment, every single lane is in real trouble.
Yeah, it's nice to see not just the lanes winning themselves, but also some nice gank pressure working out as Mokate has been making its way across the map. I was a little bit worried because they weren't in LCS order that maybe we saw a Black Shield on there a little bit too little too late, but barely enough to keep Mackler alive. It's still a devastating gank coming in there, but that's just Twitch. If he were maybe a level lower, maybe a little bit slower reflexes, would have been a kill, but nice to see Mackler able to take all that damage, and thanks to the Black Shield from Livik, stay alive.
And keep an eye on where Mokate is going right now. Twitch is currently stuck up against this tower. This is not where he wants to be. He wants to find an opportunity to go back. So we'll see if Mokate tries to relieve that lane or look for a counter gank in case Elise is going to follow. Actually looks at the moment like he's going to go back to that mid lane. Potentially look... Well, no, he is going bot.
And there we go. The Ignite from Livik. Finish from Mackler with that expunge, and now 6-0 this bottom lane. Oh, and he's gonna flash back in, finds Mackler. There's a barrier out there, just barely keeping him alive. Now Patata, it's gonna look like a potato there, goes down, and it's gonna be a famine. No more patatas on the rift.
Drop like a sack of spuds. There you go. But unfortunately, it's just getting really, really heavily out of control at this point.
So does that mean that you're actually a Sharks fan now because they have a patata on their team, Spuddington?
Patata. No, I'm not that bothered. I'll say that. Is that what I'm saying? I don't know. I was saying some words because there was a synergy there. A synergy of sound. Pun? No, not really. I don't think it even gets that far, and that's counting Freaks puns as actual puns. Regardless, though, yeah, not looking good for Sharks.
Yeah, sharks, maybe, yeah, they're smelling blood in the water, but okay, alright, Take Fun just got outplayed a little bit there. Ready, man? No, he brought his back in. He's gonna die to turret here from that death mark, but yeah, it's worth it all, chat, for plays like that. You body slam, flash in, just to drop the ignite and die.
I think that's where you just like you type wrecked in chat. I don't think Rainy Monday was really expecting to die there. It was a nice reaction play to turn it around. Potato may get found here. Libic is after him.
Okay, well, Libic's got some backup coming in. Also a black shield as he does take out that ward. Potato can't even break the black shield. And now Carrio's so low that Libic's going to come in there, but is able, rather, to hop away. What did she repel to?
The ward, I think. She can repel to wards so long as they're revealed enemy wards, and they may catch Makata here.
Okay, well, he's gonna get
a free kill.
Yeah, who caught who there, Spuddington?
But it was fine if Kerio had reacted appropriately and repelled up early, but unfortunately, when you are on 10% health, you may get
Mackler is going to flash in there, get the Bilge Runner Cutlass slow. Also the slow from the Venom Cask. And now coming around the other side. Take Fun. Surprise! There's a barrel.
Wow. That's, yep, that's not going well there. That's several people dying in their own jungle before 10 minutes. Okay. Well, seems at the moment that Mouz have more options to roam because they're so dominant in their lanes than their opponents may get in the entire game.
Okay, well, the entire game has only been about 9.5 minutes so far, Spuddington, so hopefully, well, I guess guaranteed to be at least double that amount. You can't surrender before 20 minutes, which means that we have just as much time as it took Mouz to get ahead for maybe Sharks to get ahead. It doesn't quite work that way, but still more game left to be played, and if you see more like body slam, flash ignites under turrets, maybe a few more of those will be enough for Sharks to turn it around.
Hubris is a very, very common problem in League of Legends. Players that get ahead do tend to take more risks. That can end up, of course, securing your advantage even more because high-risk plays tend to have higher reward, but yeah, if it doesn't work out, you can end up throwing a lead away, and the pink ward died.
Okay, well, it was just thrown down at, I believe, what was that, 2 minutes?
At 140?
It was 140, all right. So now that it's 1040, that's a whole 9 minutes that ward survived, so that's pretty good for ward life.
Gold efficient, yeah. It's pretty worthwhile there. But there is a gank in the top lane. I really don't think they can kill Kubon, though. He's super tanky right now, and even with Dominus and Ignite damage, they may try it.
Yeah, he does have that Giant's Belt in there, but no resistances per se, other than just, of course, Runes and Mastery. Now, Makata is here with the Cocoon Mist, the safeguard away. The Jiggy's up, Spuddington.
You've got to wonder there, though, why Kerio was taking so long to try that gank. It gave Makate time, and obviously they were afraid of a counter gank, but that's still a really risky thing to be doing now. Makate is kind of trapped alone at this tower, and he can't afford to let Fresh Air get there. He's going to go in with the Stand United, though.
Oh, there we go. We're going to see that all into Makate. Cario's trying to disengage, but just trying to run away, and the ward jump into the queue, and a perfect flash kick to get Fresh Air back into the team. Oh my gosh, we saw Engage bottom lane actually working well for Sharks. They were able to smell some blood in the water down there and take down Mackler and Libic, so somehow so far behind, still able to take him down. And I was watching those insect mechanics top lane. It wasn't even insects. First guy I saw do that in North America was a Lee Sin main named Scuba Chris, where you start the kick and then you flash to get it in the opposite direction. It's just so impressive to watch. Now we actually have a re-engage on a Kerio. It goes in, goes down. And oh my gosh, the kills just never stop.
They are just destroying right now. And Rainy Monday has to be so careful in this mid lane. Ignite is up, Flash is up. Explosive Cask into a body slam would probably be enough alone. So he's having to kind of play very defensive here, and I'm going to keep an eye on that because that could explode, not figuratively, at any second.
Ooh, but accurately. In that mid lane, not quite exploding enough. Another re-slow coming down from that the Venom cask, and a flash away from Charging Bull keeps him alive. But Yofo, you only flash once. Well, once every 4 or 5 minutes or so.
Home distillery is a dangerous business anyway. So it does look like Mokate is looking for the dive on Rainy Monday, and if they can get that kill, they will get the tower. But even if he doesn't get anywhere, it's not going to matter.
Deathmark on to take fun. Rainy Monday will not go down just to the last tick of that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mokate, he's in the right place at the right time and was able to find a kill there. He sniped him through the minion line. Man, I don't know. Maybe this guy needs to like switch up with the AD carry and play like Caitlyn so he can be even more of a sniper.
I feel like there's no champion in the game that can really reward those levels of mechanics more than Lee Sin, but Charging Bull could be in trouble here. Livic's gone for the flash.
Oh, that there's going to be more CC, dropping the Dark Binding and the Soul Shackles. Gets locked down on both. There's Mokate diving through the turret on a ward jump. One kill and another one to follow. Splitting it evenly, but oh my gosh, Mokate just doesn't stop. This guy's everywhere. He's like an international Lee Sin of mystery. I don't know. I've never seen like such effective roam, just literally walking between the lanes and picking up kills in every one of them.
He's a Lee Sin, he's snowballing, and he's got a sidestone. This is definitely danger time, and Rainy Monday actually is in quite a bit of trouble in the mid himself.
Oh, and he was actually trying to outplay that explosive cast, but Take Fun still got it off in time. A little bit too big of an AoE circle there for Rainy Monday to escape, and it looks like I don't know. Take Fun's pretty good at forecasting exactly where he's gonna go, but looking like a very Rainy Monday indeed.
Yeah, it's one of those plays, and actually, I'm starting to wonder. Like, I was looking at top lane, I was thinking, is Shen just taunted onto Renekton? Is he going to be able to get a kill? There is no kill potential. It's Shen. I should trust this instinct about Shen, but such a large gap between the two teams right now, and honestly, at this point, yes, it's very early into the game, so it's not easy for Mouz to take towers, but they need to do something to roam around to make picks happen, because if the lanes just continue on like this, Sharks are going to bleed to death.
And well, they've done a pretty good job of that all game long. 50 seconds until Dragon is back up. While the first one did go to Mouz, we'll see if the second one can go their way too. Just I feel like individual lanes winning, and that maybe means that, at least according to the North American meta, Meteos, famous Cloud9 jungler, said when your lanes are winning, you head into the jungle and try to harass the jungler. I don't think Mokate knows how to do that. He's just like, what's that? My lanes are winning? Well, let's help them win harder. And just runs around 5-0-5, picking up as many kills as he's giving away.
In fairness, Mokate has actually done a bit of both, really. He has, I mean, if you're looking at Elise's scoreline right now, she's not doing any better than the rest of her team. Partly it's been counter ganks, so you've had that incident at the top lane, for instance, where Mokate came in and Renekton was trying to bait, but ended up getting killed. So, yeah, it's not going well, and there's really no obvious avenue of escape. I actually think Kerio is taking the right approach here by building a bit of AP, because when you are this far behind, there's almost no point in going tanky, because if you go tanky, you can't burst individuals down and get those lucky picks and then like disengage. You just don't have that option. So your only option is to straight up fight, not have enough damage, and you lose because they're miles ahead. If you at least build like pure damage on everyone, you have that kind of that vague hope that you might be able to catch people out and kill them, and then maybe later on you can look towards building as if you were on an equal footing.
Yeah, and if you look at the way that the bottom lane's working, actually most of the kills, 3/4 of them, in fact, it's a fraction. I feel fairly confident about that one. 3/4 of those kills have been in the bottom lane, so Patata, he's doing pretty good as far as helping out his AD carry. And when you look at just the straight up 1v1 potential, Bloodthirster works better if you just straight up auto attacking than a Blade of the Ruined King does, especially for low HP targets like AD carries. So I like the BT rush, just as far as itemization is concerned. Did you know you can spell shield the active from Blade of the Ruined King?
I did actually know that. In fact, almost every item active counts as an ability as far as spell shields, and all the rest are concerned. The question that I've actually had that's been puzzling me for a long time and I haven't been able to find out an answer to is Thresh's soul-based armor gain. Does that count as bonus armor? Because he doesn't get any base armor per level, and the soul mechanic is supposed to like replace that. But does that count?
I'm pretty sure that's bonus armor. That's why you see a lot of supports spec heavily into the defensive tree to get the extra bonus armor, which used to be way down there in the defensive tree in Season 3. Terex, back when he was a legitimate support, would spec that far down. But, Carrio's going to need a little bit more defenses for 1v1 Mokate, who is very, very strong and very in his jungle.
So I was just thinking, that means that Trundle destroys Thresh. His armor will... Oh, Patata's doomed. He would lose all of his armor effectively, because Trundle's ultimate normally only affects bonus resistances, the stuff you've itemized for. But Thresh doesn't have base armor, or proper base armor scaling, so he'd lose even more proportionally than like a tanky bruiser. Yeah,
Thresh does not work well against people who reduce percentage bonus armor, especially guys like Yasuo. Yasuo's ultimate gives you bonus armor penetration, which doesn't mean that it gives you bonus armor penetration. It means that it helps you penetrate bonus armor like Thresh. So don't want to play that mid lane Thresh versus a Yasuo. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, mid lane Thresh.
Though, Thresh auto attacks count as melee, so you can actually get ranged auto attacks on to Yasuo through his wind wall.
Do they proc a Tiamat then?
I would have to test that. I'm not sure if they do or not. There might be a special exception for that. Kind of like how Cassiopeia's twin fangs were treated as an area of effect spell, even though they were single target, because otherwise the slow from Rylai's and the spell vamp would be too effective on them. Now they changed that. She's still a horrible champion because she's very immobile, but with another dive through the turret, just a little bit health keeping Take Fun alive.
And Mokate picks up another one with a nice kick there to finish the day. But I don't know. I'm still not entirely convinced that Cassiopeia couldn't be made good if they just gave her like a small, like, you know what Ryze got recently, like a little base health buff. Because I think if she was just a little bit less squishy, she'd be pretty strong again. And I'd really like to see Cassiopeia come back into the meta again, because she's really, really fun to play.
Or even like Cassidy now gets a shield based on percentage of his maximum mana when he uses his Q, instead of having to give a silence. Now, taking the silence away from that ability smashes Cassidy into like Heimerdinger tier, but at the same time it would be a cool thing to give, like you said, a little bit more of a tankiness to Cassiopeia, or even like you said, the Ryze treatment, make her ultimate give her like his move speed buff, just to make her a little bit more mobile, because right now she sits very still for a very long amount of time until somebody decides to kill her. But we don't see Cassiopeia or any of those super immobile champions in this game. I think the most immobile would be maybe like Annie, but Annie's job is to just go in, drop Mr. Tibbers, ask people if they've seen him, and then die.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting thing where the supports that have the highest like power built into their kits, like really high base numbers, loads of crowd control, and their weakness is that they're immobile. Generally, what you actually see is that those champions get played as support. So you see Annie, you see Zyra, that kind of archetype works really, really well. Even Elise sometimes used to be. So I'm not suggesting a support Cassiopeia here, but you know, it could be an interesting, you know, avenue for the future. It's certainly like, I feel like I would like to see Cassiopeia get something anyway.
I would love to see Cassiopeia just played at all. I am a super big fan of that champion, and haven't seen her in a long time, which makes me sad. And every once in a while,
I used to main her. She was one of my like really early champions back when she was actually good.
Yeah, I remember she came out and she was super bad, and then she was super good, then she was super bad, and then got good for like a T. Oh, again with the flash kick, getting charging bull. Charging right back to his death, and now a godlike Mokata. 7, 0, and 6. Still has yet to go legendary, but we got plenty of time for that. No expunge to catch out Patata. We'll make it back away, but does have those 6 stacks of Toxic Venom ticking down. Bottom lane turret going down, top lane turret's already down, and Fresh Air forces to slice his way back to base. We do have the Safeguard in on Take Fun. I'm guessing that's because it is in fact now 20 minutes, and they're expecting a somewhat anticlimactic end to this game. But all of Mouse Sports, they're just going to tank up this bottom lane turret. Don't even have to wait for the minions. Taking it down, and now... Oh, Soul Shackle's on to Charging Bull. He's going to, well, flash away, which is not quite the same as charging, but still make it out of there alive unless he decides to go back in. Now, Mouse Sports kiting backwards very, very well. Will take down Fresh Air. Up to see if they can catch anybody else. It looks like possibly no. Cario stays alive, and Mouse Sports actually now pushed out of the base.
Yeah, they did get pushed off. They're still They're still going pretty strong, and they may actually look to turn this around. Now they've got a big chunk of AoE damage on them. Charging Bulls in the front line.
Oh, actually doing a lot of damage to Limix. Flies over the wall. It's Rainy Monday. Now actually could take down Mokate. Mokate's got one thing on his mind, and that's KDA. He doesn't want to lose it to Rainy Monday, so he's going to get out of that situation. Surrender Vote does, in fact, pass. Oh, no, it failed.
It failed.
3-0. I was like 3-0 success, except it's not a success when everybody's still in the game. So the failure of that Surrender Vote means that Mouse Sports are going to have to win the hard way, and it doesn't look like that way is going to be too hard, just pushing through the base.
Yeah, at this point, Mouse have won, but for the actual process of winning. Normally when you're behind and you're against Twitch, you can actually turtle in fairly effectively. This is one of the weaknesses he has, and that's why you'll see him a lot less than you used to, is because he's not very safe when it comes to sieging, because he's got that short range and without an escape. But obviously he's in this situation where you're just so ridiculously far ahead, and where you've got Shen split push, that weakness really doesn't come to the fore.
Mokate just going where he pleases, still not godlike. Disappointed. Really expected more from him, but you know what? Maybe he'll get there. Maybe he'll live up to my I'm just giving him a hard time. And an incredible, a legendary performance, actually, from Mokate this game. And really all of Mouse Sports, not only just winning their lane, but helping other lanes win too. It's been nice to see a lot of synergy. Maybe taking a little bit longer than I would have expected to close out the game. There has been a little bit of fun being had by both teams, I feel.
Taking fun. But they've been doing a pretty good job overall. I think you're right. No, Mouz haven't been playing particularly seriously for a while now. You know, hubris and all that, but I still suspect they'll be able to turn it around when things come down. But at the moment, you've got to wonder what sort of the next stage is going to be for Mouz in this tournament. I believe this is the first of the quarterfinals, so this is like the finals bracket now that we're into, as opposed to the open bracket where you were casting before. But I believe they'll go up against SK Prime, assuming they win against OG, I think.
Actually, if Mouz beat Sharks now, they play the winner of Unicorns of Love versus Departed, which actually should be a really devastatingly good game. I'm really, really interested in seeing that one. The other quarterfinal matchups, of course, are My Insanity versus N Faculty, and then OG versus SK Prime, like you said. So a lot of good teams here in the quarterfinals, but none better than these. And in fact, Mouse Sports looking really, really strong coming into those finals, but looks like they're actually trying to take down Mr. Baron right now. Livix standing as a bodyguard. And in case you haven't seen that guy before, he is a huge bodyguard, so doing a good job at that. The rest of his team doing a good job at taking down Baron Nashor at 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's a nice little extra chunk of gold there. They'll be okay with that. Baron's just like, oh, I've barely been around for 10 minutes and I'm already being killed. The sad life of a purple serpent with sort of 3 mouths and quite a lot of eyes, and he's a bit confused about his lineage, but I don't know, sad life for him. Doesn't get to live very long.
Rest in peace. We knew thee well.
Jackson Master Yi will be at his funeral.
Oh, Mackler, though, is going to turn around for a barrier, and oh my gosh, it's so many shields there. You got barrier, you got Stand United, and still stayed alive. Also had the active from Blade of the Ruined King there, of course. So a nice taunt there onto Fresh Air. We'll have to see how much pollution Mouse Sports are putting out. Looks like not enough. Renekton still protecting the environment. Renekton protecting the environment.
Renekton is also a protected species, so that works in more ways than one. Mokate! Wow!
Oh, he still gets it! Holy!
Ow.
Oh my
Ow.
god. Ah, I felt that one.
It's
I
like
felt the
seeing
whiplash
someone
from
skating and then like landing on their crotch.
that. I just like my head like snapped back from watching that. It was like, whew. That was a rough one, and so was the ending of this game. Very, very flashy finish to an equally flashy game. He's still not legendary Lee Sin, or not